Hi, this is Richard C. I'm answering a question submitted by a student taking calculus. And the question has to do with logarithmic differentiation, which is a technique that comes in handy sometimes when you're trying to find the derivative of something that's fairly complicated. And I'm just going to drag this back here so we can see it. Okay, so we'll start by just copying this out. So y is equal to sine of 8x. And then this is all being raised. So I'm going to use a square bracket here to the 1 plus 7x power. That's kind of hard to do. So one way of approaching this is this technique called logarithmic differentiation, where we just take the log of both sides. We'll use the natural log here. And you might remember from your laws of logs that the exponent comes down and you put that in front. Okay, and then this is now becomes the log of sine of 8x. Okay, and this is, we're not using any calculus here, we're using algebra 2, taking the natural log of both sides. And hopefully you remember your rules for logarithms. And now we're going to differentiate both sides. So the natural log, the derivative of the natural log is 1 over 1. It's going to be 1 over y times y prime. So I'm just going to write that as, just going to write that as y prime over y. And then we're going to take the derivative of the right-hand side, and we're going to use the product rule. So I'll take the first times the derivative of the second. So this is going to be the first, which is 1 plus 7x, times the derivative of this log, which is going to be 1 over the sine of 8x. I'm going to drop those brackets. It's just adding too many brackets here. And then times the derivative of what's inside, which would be the cosine of 8x times 8. So I'll just write 8 cosine 8x here. And then, so that's the first times the derivative of the second plus the second. So natural log sine 8x times the derivative of the first. So the derivative of the first term here is just 7, so I'll just stick a 7 in front. And so we're sort of zeroing in on our objective here, which is to find y prime. And we just multiply both sides by y. So now I'm going to take the original y, which is sine 8x raised to the 1 plus 7x. And then you would multiply that by everything that we had up here. So it's going to be 1 plus 7x over sine 8x times 8 cosine 8x plus 7 log, natural log of the sine 8x, like that. So it's a bit of a mess. But now you would just use some algebra to simplify this as far as you possibly could. You do have a sine of 8x to a power divided by sine of 8x. So this first term, at least you can get rid of the denominator here in the first term. And here you can't really do a whole heck of a lot. So you just clean this up. I'll leave these last few steps to you and just clean it up as best you can. But you can see that this is a useful technique. I would rather think of this as a three-level three-level problem as opposed to using the logs. I think that might be a little bit easier. Obviously, no matter what you do, you're going to end up with a fairly complicated answer. Okay, so that's this technique, logarithmic differentiation. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.